Okay, TSLY down, Aptly down, OARK down, NVIDIA down, Clip down. What is going on in the markets as of lately? All of these stocks that you guys are taking a look at buying are seriously discounted right now, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to run through some technical analysis with you guys, some price comparisons in comparison to how much you'd get paid in passive income if you bought at the top versus buying now, and what the upside potential is. So let's get into it. Now, you guys can see on the charts, I pulled up the first chart here. TSLY from looks like about July 19th has dropped roughly about 28% from the peak. This is a huge drop, guys. I don't know about you, but if I could get a $5 discount on my favorite high yielding stock every single day of the week, trust me, I would take it. So that's TSLY down 28%. I'm just going to throw this one in there for shiggles. Beto, which is also another one I'm looking at now. I haven't had a chance to get into this yet, but I will at some point. Beto from the recent peak has dropped about 24.4%. OARK has dropped from the peak to where it is right now about 20.5%. Aptly, everybody's favorite Apple stock, right, has dropped from the peak to where it is now about 13.18%. By the way, just so you guys know, when it comes to Apple, these pullbacks on Apple are extremely, extremely rare. As a matter of fact, while I'm on it, let me go ahead and show you guys the chart of Apple real quick so you can see for yourself. So I'm just going to go ahead and scroll out here to the daily just to give you guys an example of how rare these pullbacks are. So look at this. From March 1st, basically, of this year all the way up until July, you had 0 pullbacks on Apple. And then all of a sudden, you get a pullback. Okay. The last time this thing had a pullback was in February, about the middle of the month, and the pullback wasn't even that significant. And then before that, you had another one all the way back in December of 2022, which was, well, roughly about a 17% pullback. So that gives you guys an idea of just how rare it would be to buy Aptly and or Apple on the dip. So let's go back to the charts here. I think I did TSLY, Aptly, OARK. So now we'll take a look at Clip, which is another favorite of a lot of people. It's also one of my favorites as well. I own quite a bit of shares of these. Okay, so sorry about that. The chart is way too wide here. All these gaps got me a little confused right now. So from the most recent peak to the low point, you got about a 10% drop there. That's pretty significant. Considering that this thing basically was just going sideways for pretty much a whole, I don't even know how long this is. This is a long time. So this thing basically just went sideways for about 3 months. So getting it back at this support zone is a pretty good deal. And then the other one I'm looking at right now is NVIDIA. And from the most recent peak to where it currently sits is about a 9.43% pullback. These are some pretty amazing pullbacks, guys. You can get some pretty cheap shares at the current prices because the S&P and the NASDAQ are getting shorted heavily by Michael Burry right now. And the Fed meeting minutes just came out recently and said basically that the Fed was still hawkish on inflation. So downward price pressure gives great opportunities for dividend income investors. That's typically how that works. Now, AMZ, GUI, FB, NFLY, and Coney are not actually paying dividends just yet. But, since some of you guys may actually own these, I'm going to go ahead and go over them anyways. AMZ had about a 5% drop. GUI has been chop city. This thing's really chopping around big time. It's probably in a consolidation on the Google chart before picking a direction, I would guess. 2.7% drop. FB has had just a whopper smashola to the downside going on here. About 11.5% drop. NFLY has also been getting destroyed here. About 7.25%. And Coney, the Coinbase version, or YieldMax Coinbase version, is about 8%. The Coinbase shares have fallen significantly because of the fact that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market has been getting smashed pretty hard lately. I've been keeping an eye on that. I'm not going to talk about crypto videos at this point in time. Maybe in a couple of months I'll start bringing them up. But right now I'm more focused on this passive income. So these are some pretty good deals. These 5 right here don't pay a distribution yet, but all of these ones right here do. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull out a couple examples here to kind of run some numbers by you guys so you can figure out what I mean here when I say that it's the $5 discount is a really good deal. So TSLY currently pays 83 cents a share as of the most recent distribution rate. Whether that's going to change or not, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. The next ex-dividend date is not until, I want to say, like the 9th of next month. I'd have to look it up again, but it's not until next month. So we have a while before we eventually get to that point. So this is a pretty extreme example, but I'm just going to go ahead and use it here. So let's say that you guys bought 100 shares at the exact top. Okay, 18.47 a share. So 100 shares times, well, okay, let's first figure out how much it would actually cost to buy those shares. So 100 shares at 18.43, so times 18.43. So it would cost $1,843. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a second calculator, and you guys will see why in a minute. Times 0.8303. And this is assuming that you only wanted to buy 100 shares. That's it. Maybe some of you have more money and you can buy more than that. Congratulations. Whoops. Sorry, give me a second on that. That was actually a mistake. I wish I had that many shares. That would be insane. So $83.03 a month is what you would get for your 100 shares, or about 1,843 invested. So now let's take the other price. So we're going to do 1843 divided by 1338. This will tell us the amount of shares that we can get for the same amount of capital invested. So you're going to get an extra 37 3/4 shares just for waiting to buy the dip at a $5 discount. Now, some people don't have the patience for this. They don't want to wait that long to buy. Some people just want a DCA in. That's understandable, but I'm just illustrating this to show you guys the power of buying on the dip. So you get 137 shares for the same amount of capital invested times 8303. Instead of getting $83 a month, you would now get $114 a month at the current distribution rate. So now let's take another example. And I think another really good one right now would be OARK, since this thing's just gotten absolutely smashed. It's down from 1760 all the way down to just shy of $14. So here's the most recent payout distribution from OARK, just slightly under 69 cents. So how many, let's see how many shares it would cost at the peak. 100 shares times 1762. So to get 100 shares at the peak, it would cost you $1,762 to get 100 shares. So we're going to go ahead and put that in this calculator as well. So we're now going to do the 100 shares times 0.6838, which would give you $68 a month. But if we take that same amount of money and we put it in at the current price, we'll just call it $13.96. Instead of getting 100 shares, you would get 126 shares. And instead of getting $68 a month, you would now get $86 a month. So you automatically get a, what is that, like I think an $18 a month increase just for putting the same amount of capital in at cheaper prices. Guys, these prices are a steal. I mean, just take a look at these charts. OARK is actually lower than it's ever been currently. Okay, Clip is lower than it's ever been currently. Aptly is lower than it's ever been currently. TSLY is lower, well, almost lower than it's ever been currently. It's currently in a support zone right here. And NVIDIA is testing the most recent lows, pretty close to the lowest point on these share prices. So, and the other thing you guys have to understand about these funds, they just came out in basically like, January was when the market started to run up in the S&P 500. They just came out around that time frame, so they haven't really had a lot of time to see any real price discovery in terms of upside or downside. According to the charts, these are some great prices. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to buy the dip. I wanted to bring this to you guys so you're aware. Maybe some of you don't watch the markets, but I look for stuff like this to pick it up on the dip because it increases your purchasing power in terms of how many shares you can buy, and it also increases your passive income substantially from what you guys could see from the examples I gave you. And this applies to any stock. It doesn't necessarily have to be YieldMax. It doesn't have to be CraneShares Clip. It could be anything. It could be Pepsi. It could be Apple, 3M. It could be something like the QYLD, RYLD, XYLD, just to name a few. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this comment. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.